Crazy.
Yeah, I want to say that the story in this game, I think, because Heavenly Sword had some plot holes, some parts that kind of confused me. There's none of that. After you play the very intro stage, I was hooked on this story. You know, after those gangsters attack you, you find out what he's going after, and I think this has a beginning, a middle, and an end better than, you know, any story on paper than any video game I've played.
There's something to be said about the continuity, too, and you sort of mentioned that. You know, the continuity in COD4 with the way that they sort of switch between the storylines, I like that break in continuity. I personally don't agree with you that Heavenly Sword had better continuity than this game, because this game, to me, is taking place in real time. You're not jumping ahead 3 days or this or that. You know, there's no stage selection
what
screen
I mean is
in
a
between.
mix. I don't know. It was just, for whatever reason, I didn't have as much of an emotional connection with what was going on as I did with the other two.
Okay.
I don't know why. That's my only guess as to why. I felt like I was just, you know, doing more, to me, because I don't like platform and action games, I felt like it was more menial tasks than the other two, because the other two are so much more of what I enjoy, which are action games and first-person shooters.
I got you. That makes sense. Okay, so talking a little bit about gameplay, and I have a feeling that Forrest and I are going to actually be exactly on the same page here, because, you know, this game isn't really setting out to do anything unbelievably awesome or new in terms of innovation. You know, I would say that the platforming's pretty simple. You know, but one thing I did like about the platforming is that somehow the game always managed to sort of like cinch you in the right direction without making it so obvious.
Natural.
And it's really weird,
you know,
how they do that.
I don't mean to interject, but just to build upon what you're saying, as far as it doesn't do anything new, you're right. But what it does do is kind of fix all the wrongs.
That's a great
that some of the games in the past have done. That's what I felt like playing it. Like, I was able to play this game because traditionally platformers and adventure games, I can't stand the little like annoying things about them.
Right.
For me, Uncharted fixed all those annoying things and made me get through those, you know, menial parts a lot easier.
Okay. Forrest, your thoughts. Throw some ideas out here for gameplay.
I want to say that graphics in this game really make the gameplay shine, because I don't really think that we are going to do one single new thing in this game, but it's going to look the best we've ever done it. You know what I'm saying? We've climbed these walls. We've done these on-rail shooters. I've ridden a jet ski before, something similar, but, you know, hot damn if it isn't the best looking I've ever done it.
Right.
You know, it gets awfully repetitive. You know, what you do in the first two stages is sort of what you're going to be doing throughout the whole game, but, you know, it still felt really good to me. I'm sad that they didn't push themselves more in gameplay, but they said, you know, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to make it as tight as possible, and I think they achieved that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it sort of forced you in certain ways, because, you know, I'm sure other people feel the same. They don't like these kind of games because they feel like they get stuck, and once they get stuck, they give up.
Right.
I feel like, you know, Naughty Dog was really just more concerned about getting all the things in the past done right, and also make sure their story was intact and that it flowed and that people, you know, got into the story and didn't let annoying gameplay features ruin their experience.
Yeah, I mean, guys, you're playing basically a 7-hour movie. That's what
and for
Uncharted
me,
is.
you know, I started thinking about, I can only play this game in maybe hour snippets, and maybe that's fine, because you'll watch a television show, you know, like The Shield or something, in an hour, and then you'll maybe shut it off and take a break and come back another. That's how I kind of played it.
Before we move on from gameplay into fun factor,
we didn't show the scores yet, too.
Talking a little bit about the aiming system, because to me, the aiming was very, very fucking solid. Like,
really
with all the different Kane and Lynches that are out, and sort of these games that are getting criticized a lot for their controls, it was nice. Even in the demo, I played the demo over and over because I was like, this aim feels natural. Even the grenades and the tilt, it feels very, very
really
natural.
Smooth.
Forrest, do you agree with these comments about the controls? Do you think they had a very, very solid control scheme?
You know, aiming and shooting, I thought they did fantastic. I had some problems diving from cover to cover, getting that system to work perfectly all the time. But I had no issues with the aiming. I played Kane and Lynch right before this, then played this and tried to go back to Kane and Lynch, and I couldn't. I had to take it back. I'm not going to beat that one for the audience.
Let's look at the scores. Let's look at the scores here for gameplay. I gave it an 8. Suma also gave it an 8, but Forrest dropping it down to a 7. I could probably take a guess, and that's just the fact that while they do it beautifully, they don't necessarily do anything new?
Exactly. And you took the words right out of my mouth. I really like what they do. I just wish they had done more.
All right. Well, and who knows, a lot of these developers are using their first titles as like their engine creation to go on to the next game. So, all right, guys, real quickly, fun factor, pop up our screens. Guys, I had a blast from the moment we started until the moment the credits rolled. In fact, I was just sad to see it sort of go away. I gave it a 9. You guys threw out 8s, and I'd love to hear why you went down an extra point.
I just don't like these games typically, so it's not as fun for me, and I felt like it was very repetitive. I felt like, and it's funny because your character would say it too. If you're like, oh God, not this again, or oh God, I have to do this again, or why am I doing this? It's like, yeah, why am I doing this again? I felt like I was just doing a lot of the same things over and over, and I didn't necessarily have fun doing that. But because the graphics are so good, because the sound's so good, because the voice acting and all the other stuff, are so good, that's the reason the fun factor is still relatively high at 8. But I just didn't, the reason it's not like a 9 or 10 is because you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over again. I thought the jet ski was a nice change of pace. I thought that vehicle scene that you saw that we played earlier, I thought that sequence was
one of the best on
one of the best. And like when you're shooting cars and tires are flying past, I thought that was amazing. I would have loved to see more of that.
They had that one where like I think it was like semi-scripted, but you had to like trigger it. During that scene, when you play it, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quickly, we're going to give our overall scores. One other thing I wanted to comment on is that in addition to the guns, there is the melee system. And while people may say, yeah, but it's only like one-button combos, that is true. However, the amount of animations that I saw from doing this one-button combo was actually quite amazing.
Did you ever do the Superman punch?
For example, yeah, where you like jump in the air and do it. Like
we just showed it.
He's got like 8 or 9 different variations to this one 5-hit combo.
Like if guys are against the wall, or if you come up
against
One of the coolest ones I saw was just a straight up like he 1-2s them, but then the third hit is not really a hit. He like ducks underneath his punch and then like jabs him twice in the kidney, and I was just like, that's fucking awesome. So let's look at our overall scores, guys, and then give a try or a buy here. I gave it an 88%, but you know what? I feel like, just kind of like what Force said about Phantom Hourglass on Tuesday, don't let the double 8s, any score under 90 make you think that this isn't a game that you need for your library. For me, this is one of those games that in 2007, you definitely need to add to your library, especially if you're a PS3 owner. Force, you gave it an 85. Pretty standard.
I know I'm in a different ballpark than you guys, and I'll stay in this ballpark. $60 is a lot of money to pay for something I beat in 2 sittings.
What? That is bullshit, dog, because I just went and fucking watched Beowulf on Sunday, and that fucking movie cost me $45, and I got an hour and 58 minutes worth of fucking entertainment. Out of this $60 game, I got 8 hours. So
and there's also like treasures that you'll find. And something else we didn't mention about the gameplay itself is the achievements you actually unlock that are random, and they're actually kind of cool and customized, like headshots, headshot achievement, or shooting like things with guns, or finding treasures. I think that Uncharted is the reason that you own a PS3. I think it's a game where if you have someone over and they're like, why do you own a PS3? Ain't got no games. Bam.
Yeah, what are they going to do with it? Watch me play this for a little bit?
And, if you don't like adventure games, you're still going to like this game. I don't like adventure games, and I still liked it. So,
I'm definitely a buy, guys. You know what? I'm also, and Force, I know that you're like, rent it, the length. Guys, if you really want to support the PS3, if you really want to support Naughty Dog,
good games.
Fucking buy the game. I know that $60 is expensive, but like I said, going to a movie with my wife cost us $40 after we got tickets and fucking popcorn and shit.
Stop going to the movies. That's too expensive too. Jesus, $45.
Just stay in your house and do nothing, Wheat. What are you doing?
Yeah.
God.
Go rent some shit, dude. There's 3 months of rentals.
I personally, I'm not gonna let you sit here and get the final word and tell people to go buy Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles and not this game. So
but I got that one for $30. It's a different story.
How
sell some other shitty.
Work some overtime.
How long did you play that one?
We've played it 3 weekends, and I plan on playing it again this Saturday.
Wow.
Or 3 sessions, not 3 weekends. I'm sorry.
3 sessions. Okay. Guys, Uncharted. Bye.